Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the NFT Morning Show. Today is Friday, March 17th, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. If it's your first time listening, we run this show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time each and every week, where we discuss all things NFTs, crypto, technology, finance, entertainment, gaming, and everything in between. I'm your host, P.O., here with my co-host, Nifty Nick, the funniest man in the business. Easy Eats Bodega, the founder of Bodago, soon to hit a blockchain near you, the host of GM Market Talk, the host of Web3 Made Easy, all-around rising star in the NFT and crypto space. Signal, coder turned content creator, the host of Artist Spotlight, just popping off and growing as a content creator. Already was an analytical and sophisticated an analyst of the NFT and crypto markets. We got Kicks, the CEO of Crypto Raiders, the founder of Cyber Stadium, and a co-founder in the Nifty, an intelligent degenerate in his own right and building a crypto gaming empire. We got producer extraordinaire Clemente. Wouldn't be able to do the show without him. Always rocking behind the scenes and often helping us out in the spotlight. And last but not least, we have Bunny. Bunny, your bio just says it might be your birthday.
Might be.
Dude, I mean, it is.
Congrats.
No, it's not. It's not till Monday.
Isn't it St. Patrick's Day? Are you St. Patrick? You got a little Irish in you, Bunny?
I'm not, dude. Would you like a
Bunny Rabbit? It's kind of lining up. Bunny Rabbit, Irish, green. Your favorite color?
Bunny, are you one of those people that celebrates the birthday for like a full week out of the month? I mean, you're kind of prepping us for Monday.
It's my birthday week. It's my birthday week.
Wow. I didn't peg you that way, but that actually makes sense, I think. I think that makes sense.
Sharks get a week. Why shouldn't I?
Amen, brother. I'll send you some Casamigos.
Nick, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. Hey, thanks for that, P.O. 278 northbound right now, looking pretty clean. But southbound, we're seeing a little bit of traffic. We've been flying over here in the helicopter. 478 looking pretty clear. Finding it pretty interesting right now. A lot of happy drivers on 478 right now.
42069 clogged up.
I will say the 42069 is clogged up. The FDR drive, a little bit of traffic due to an accident there on the eastbound side of things. Pulled off into the emergency lane, though, hopefully, so cars can go around it. So we're seeing a little bit of clarity taking place there at this point in time. I'm pretty excited about that. And also on the West Side Highway right now, we're seeing a lot of expensive apartments over there. Previously, that was cheap many years ago, but no longer is the case. And thereby, there's a lot more traffic as a result of that, because it turns out that rich people have cars. Back to you, Pia.
Well, I love the traffic update. I think that's the update that everybody needed. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to discuss today. This week-long run on crypto, the performance of some new NFT collections, and another edition of everybody's favorite segment, buy, sell, or send it to zero with Easy Eats Bodega. I mean, look, it started as buy, sell, or send it to zero with Easy. Now he's still the star of the segment, but everybody weighs in. Everybody wants to be able to weigh in on buy, sell, or send it. So
is the way that it works here is that we start with a segment. We test it for one day. If it does well, we just make it the show.
I guess so. I mean, do you not like that segment, Nick?
No, I like the segment. I'm just looking for diversity. It's like we have one successful segment and we just give up. Like we can't try. Let's try some other things. Okay?
Well, it's every time we do a segment, we did RNA and it just got shat on by the co-host, all Nick. So go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Nick. To you, when's the last time we did buy, sell, or send it? Like in your mind, when is the last calendar date that we did this segment? I am curious to say. Is it yesterday? Is that the last time? No, the day before yesterday.
Tuesday.
Clemente, is that true?
It's Tuesday.
Look at that. Nick's brain is still functioning, ladies and gentlemen. He's not that old. No, I'm just kidding. He's sharp as a whip. Anyway, we have an edition of buy, sell, or send. It sounds like Nick doesn't want to do that, but we're going to do it anyway.
That's how I interpret it.
I don't want to do it. I'm just saying, like, I'm a big fan of diversity.
Well, I'm sure you are. Also found out that Kix has just not been using the iPhone that we bought for him. That's not that surprising, and that's why he's not able to go on the Twitter stage any day.
We're not talking about it anymore. We're now using this advanced technology where we all speak through your account.
Well, but for some reason,
Elon Musk, get it fucking working on Android again, you bozo. No wonder you can't afford payroll.
You can't come on stage, man. That's why we bought you the iPhone. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
switch over to having an iPhone as my main device of communication.
You don't need a phone service on it. You literally turn on Wi-Fi and just install Twitter on the phone. Job done.
I'm aware of how that works. Like, I've been in tech for a long time. I'm saying I actually want to use it as my primary phone.
Well, I hope that you can turn that want into a reality. I think it's probably pretty hard to do. Anyway, ladies and the show is sponsored by us, by our newsletter. Sign up at the nifty.com, THENIFTY.com. We put that out 5 days a week, gives you all the updates in the NFT space and some of the big updates from crypto and just, the financial world in general. Again, sign up at the nifty.com, THENIFTY.com. Over to Signal for the weather report. Can't give you any background music, Sig, because I know that for some reason the audio goes up and up and up as I turn it down. So we're just going to do a acapella audio from Sig. It's wicked loud.
Wicked loud, guys. Wicked loud. GM, everyone. Today is Friday, the 17th of March. Let's look at those total market volume numbers. They are coming in at 81 million blur, still majority at 52. So not much change overnight. Onto leaders, you got Apes and Mutants pretty stable. Punks, they're surging. They're up at 69 ETH. So the floor on Punks now is $122,000. Onto the PFP side, you got Azuki just carrying the market right now. Everyone else pretty stable, but Pudgy's captain's looking okay. Then if we go on to the top stories of the past 24 hours, really it's been volatility and turmoil for Moonbirds, Doodles and Clonex. Doodles touched as low as 3.4 but recovered back up to 3.6. Moonbirds went down to 3.7 back up to almost 4, and Clonex went all the way down to 3.3 but came up to 3.5. All of these collections trying to sort of figure out what their new pricing is. On to Veefriends. It's been a long time since we've heard anything coming out of Veefriends. Obviously we've got VCon, but now Gary V announced book games. You can burn them for squiggles. You have to go buy the book games tokens over on Immutable X, accumulate as much as you can for an auction style. The largest bid of tokens will end up winning those Chromie Squiggles. Book games token floor normally sits around 0.08 and is now a little bit up at 0.1. On to golf. Linkstyle announced they acquired a golf course in Scotland. The guide price for the golf course, we don't know what it closed up. The guide price was $900,000, which is actually not that much considering they raised $11 million on the mint. It looks like a stunning golf course, but you will have to fly either to Aberdeen or Inverness if you want to tee off over there. But great success to the team. They finally got their golf course. And lastly, over on to Bitcoin, you've got on the ordinal side DeGod's NFT, well, Frank's DeGod's NFT, the original one sold for $80,000. That bid was in dust. And also Magic Eden have also alluded to the fact that the orange ME logo is now going to be able to host ordinals. So that's happening on that side. On to crypto. Everyone's talking about it. That's been pumping. Overall, got crypto mooning. NFTs are down about 5 to 7% for most of them. Expect to see prices adjust as as crypto surges. So going into the weekend, that 24-hour forecast is looking like some cloudy skies and some unpredictable weather. Back to you, folks.
Fantastic weather report, Signal. Also love when you do accents. I saw you put out the little clip where you were playing different characters, seemingly London hooligans, saying the word bruv and whatnot. Yeah, that was pretty fun.
You should be familiar with that. They're all like East London, but it kind of depends where you're from because it's different from the south and it's different in the north. But yeah, that's my London accent there.
English people love variety of accents. They have an acute ear for accents for sure. Updates from the Nifty Daily Digest, the newsletter that is available at thenifty.com, published 5 days a week. Arbitrum, the Ethereum Layer 2 network with the highest current TVL, that's total value locked, of any Ethereum L2, announced an airdrop of its governance token, which will see users receive 11% of the token supply. I saw Kix complaining about this because
7,200 coming my way. Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah, scam, dude. Report that guy. Ban him.
Kix was upset because apparently he participated on Arbitrum.
Too fucking early, dude. I was at Arbitrum before any of these bozos were even in crypto, dude.
Well, there you go. You were too early, buddy. Amidst the continued banking liquidity crisis, Balaji Srinivasan, very prominent technologist and investor, has announced a $1 million Bitcoin competition for those who create the best charts, graphs, and memes to highlight the financial crisis. So he's going to pay that out in Bitcoin. That's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, for tweets, $1 million for tweets. I saw that yesterday. And a lot of people were replying, obviously, because it's $1,000 for a tweet. So, like, your expected value. I wonder how many impressions does that tweet have at this point?
Let's check that out, Clemente. And Nick, I mean, if you have any questions, definitely let me know, and I can just share them with Balaji.
2.6 million.
Okay, well, it's making progress. The number of replies would be the other thing to figure out. But regardless, yeah, I saw that tweet. There were some there were some good replies in there. The narrative right now is essentially that you can't trust the banking system, which I kind of get. There was an interview with Janet Yellen by Congress. I don't know what the whole interview is the wrong word.
I bet you watched that one, Nick. You love Janet.
Okay, yeah, I got her name tattooed on my right butt cheek, Pio.
You love some good Janet content. Come on now.
It was quite disheartening, like seeing her commentary. I was just like, is this really the state of affairs within like our government? Where it was like it was like problematic, the commentary, and it wasn't even like. At least like Jerome Powell was answering some questions. I remember when they were talking, and I saw him being sort of like attacked essentially by or getting aggressive questions, including like Elizabeth Warren was one of the people on there, which I think was like the one that was circulated the most, just because the media loves
out by the
name.
name.
But it was like. At least he was able to like strongly defend his position. Janet Yellen like wasn't at all. Like I don't know. It was like, yeah, we arbitrarily just kind of make a decision on which banks to backstop. Pretty much, a group of us get into a room and we just make that decision. And so it was like, but I'm feeling very confident in the banking system. And it was like the weirdest. I don't know. It was just the strangest commentary on the situation.
Come over to the dark.
I don't know. The real thing is like the stock market does not seem happy sort of about the way that things are right now. There was a collective of banks were going to bail out First Republic. I thought I was thinking of buying it on the show the other morning. Remember, we were talking about that, and then it went up. It's since retraced. And then the news that it was being bailed out by a collective of banks was apparently bearish. The stock tanked overnight, and I saw some market commentators say, "Well, yeah, my target price." Wedbush Securities said that the target price is $5 because there's no equity value after this takes place. And I was just like, "Damn, okay."
Damn, son.
That thing's trading like a goddamn NFT rug pull at this point.
I mean, well, it's moving back and forth. I don't know what the but the stock market not doing so hot, crypto doing well, and I don't know. I just find that to be we haven't seen a sustained decoupling or like split between it. We've seen short-term moves like that. And then we all say, is this the time that crypto will finally decouple from the market? And I don't know. We got to give it a couple weeks, see what happens. Only time will tell on that. But right now it is. And you got Bitcoin pumping, finding resistance at a level I had drawn yesterday. So there's not a lot of insight from that. But 26,551 is the level that I'm watching here. The next one up from that, though, is 28,613. So if this thing breaks through, you could get another 10% upside. But it's been having a hell of a run. This has been. I remember Pio when we went to that that race, the e-car, e-form, whatever the hell it was.
Formula 2.
And it's not even Formula 2.
I think it was Formula E.
Formula E. There you go. And we were talking about at that moment in time. I don't remember what. I literally like bought Bitcoin while we were in line, and I was like bought $100,000 real quick because I'm like, yeah, this is gonna go up to 30K instantly. And moral of the story, it didn't. But that was definitely. I was like, well, there's a ton of there's a ton of upside here. The counter Nick trade has been just operating phenomenally, though. So I don't know if I'm feeling bullish here. You may want to get out of the market.
I mean, a nice sobering check for you, Nick, is that video that I pulled up of us on the YouTube show 6 months ago. Ethereum was like coming down from being right at the price that we are right now
when we were pumping.
Yeah. So we were pumping at like 1435 after it had retraced from like 1780. My point being is that 6 months ago we were in the same price range. You know what I mean? So it's not like we're at 2,500 or we're at 3,000 or something like that. There's been a chop.
I mean, dude, the candle goes up, man. The crypto Twitter goes wild because look, we need a little bit of validation for sticking around.
True.
Through this time.
It explains the anger in NFTs right now because ETH is rallying and NFTs are puking. That's a typical recipe for mass depression and hysteria across NFT landscape.
There was one other thing that stood out to me. I was reading, somehow my Twitter feed, I wouldn't say somehow, unsurprisingly, it was filled with banking commentary this morning. And one of the companies I follow, Hedgeye, which was kind of on top of some of the FTX stuff. There was a guy there. I'm blanking on the guy who was short. What? Market. Yep, exactly. And he was like super bearish on FTX, and he essentially had called it a Ponzi scheme months in advance. And I had not been following that guy, and I'm like, whoa, these people are smart. So I followed them. But they sort of went off. It was like they were very bearish on essentially the banks. They were saying the last time that we saw this level of borrowing at the discount window from banks was in the 2008 financial crisis, and that the market following that spike dropped another 30%. And so that's what they were saying. Now, I think that there may be bias amongst this publication and that they're on average heavily short the market. So you're having a short seller bias from the commentary that they have. But what was also just fascinating was they were also just very bearish on crypto overall. But it was like they in a way that I'm not talking about cyclicality of the market. I'm just saying holistically, they had an ideological like hatred against crypto and sort of retweeted an article from Raoul Paul that was calling him like a fraudster for pumping crypto, and it was like I don't know, it was just an interesting take because I guess what all my conclusion here is their narrative did not align with some kind of the Bitcoiners that you would see, like the tweet that we just saw. And I think a lot of people in crypto who believe that, hey, this is a counter to the banks, and that's just kind of a foundation. So it's interesting that like market participants, seasoned market participants don't see it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that for me right now, I'm thinking holding ETH, shorting S&P, and waiting to buy NFTs until ETH tops out. Although, am wondering, is the Fed actually going to come in and raise the rates? That would be the short on the S&P, but that could neuter this ETH run a little bit. We'll have to see.
So Pomp, Anthony Pomp, well, I'm going to finish the newsletter stuff in a second, but this is obviously the discussion that we need to have. Pomp in his newsletter today, the title of the newsletter was just "The Financial Crisis is Upon Us," which is kind of, I mean, he's not wrong. It's kind of gnarly. And he basically said that the Fed and other central banks are in a lose-lose scenario. He said that basically if the Fed chooses to ignore the current banking crisis and continue to hike rates, and that would be in line with what the economic data is telling them to do, then what that would effectively do is it would test whether the U.S. government, which the U.S. government is facing a debt limit crisis, will actually be able to come up with enough money to backstop every bank's deposits. And like Pomp's like, that's not an experiment that Pomp wants to see. So that leads to what he believes the best case is for the U.S. economy and the U.S. dollar, which will basically be, you know, that the Fed, the FDIC, and other organizations, they're not going to allow a banking crisis to occur, which is a good thing. But it'll likely mean that we'll see a return to the loose monetary policy and inflation that will, you know, kind of go against the rate hike initiative from the Fed, which, by the way, is what everybody, all the Bitcoiners said when they started to raise rates is like, okay, they can raise rates now, but they're going to have to go back. Like the money printing is just, you know, the loose monetary policy, whatever you want to call it, is like heroin in the arm, and you go back to it. Plan B literally has a tweet. As soon as they started raising rates, saying
he's back in your graces.
Well, he was never gone. I mean, you can make fun of him. He's been right the whole time. Literally has a tweet that says, what do you really think they're going to do? What do you really think that money printing's over? Loose monetary policy is over? Do you really think that that's how this is going to shake out over the next 5 to 10 years? And look at where we're at right now. It's kind of gnarly. And I'll ask,
I mean, his predictions are always right. You offered to chop your dick off if Bitcoin didn't hit $100,000 by the end of the year, and
that was a promise. That was a promise.
I know you're obsessed with price. Obsessed. It's all that matters. All that matters in the world is price. But like theory does matter. Like you know,
theory matters, Pio, but it's also a question of timeline. Like Rubini is always the bearish, like so bearish, and he always turns out to be not Beanie. Muriel Rubini, the economist. He's extremely bearish, and he's had this stance for so long, and it turns out he's right. But you have to wait like a very, very long time for him to be right. So you know. These people that you speak of, they are right, but it's like the catalyst for that event, we've had to wait sort of 12 to 18 months. And then when it does occur, it rears its head out of nowhere. Like Silicon Valley Bank felt like it was out of nowhere. It was a complete outlier. And then you start to see the knock-on effects. So there is a question of like timeline here and when this stuff can start to happen, because I think Nick is obsessed with price, but it's because of how long these things take to actually play out.
Yeah, I mean, no, well, look, being obsessed with price is just like a trader mentality versus like Balaji. Balaji does not give a shit what the price of Bitcoin is. He does not give a rat's ass. He's obsessed with Bitcoin as a technology, as, you know, a global monetary tool, a monetary technology. Balaji does not give a damn about what the price is of Bitcoin in any moment. I'm more of that guy. I'm not someone that's like, oh, if I buy Bitcoin at 25K, I can sell it at 26K. This is crazy. Anyway, just to finish up the newsletter announcements. I mean, by the way, that Balaji thing, Nick, we already saw what happens when we offered 50K for anybody that would talk about FTX, how good that tweet did. Balaji offered $1 million. I wonder how good the impressions are going to be on that tweet. It's going to be pretty good. Veefriends announced that VCon 2022 NFT ticket holders will be able to enter an auction for 3 Chromie Squiggle NFTs with the bid size determined by how many book games are burned. So they're looking to just burn. Chimpers has shipped stage 2 of its adventure game where holders can explore a new region and secure new jewels. So continuing updates from Chimpers. Objkt.com, one of the primary Tezos marketplaces, have initiated ETH payments. And obviously, we already heard the Links DAO update. So those are your updates from the Nifty Daily Digest. Sign up at the nifty.com, THENIFTY.com. I mean, we can resume the conversation here. It would be a monumental, just so everybody understands, a monumental event would be like the financial system being in deep jeopardy and, Bitcoin and other crypto assets, seeing like a major price appreciation, basically going to the moon. This is like the moment that Bitcoiners have been like waiting for, if it did happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Kix, it looks like you want to chime in.
Or an alien invasion. I just wanted that can also be a little traumatic. I was just looking at the charts, Pio. You and I were in the game in NFTs back in, it's been 2 years, man.
2 years, baby.
January through March. And if you remember, in 2021, January through March on Nifty Gateway was a run, right? And there was a run on Top Shot as well. And this year, like January and February, we had a run in NFTs, like same kind of thing, right? But crypto was also running January through March in 2021, and crypto is also running January through March 2023. And what happened was, as crypto kept running, NFTs eventually started collapsing, which is happening right now. And the crash in Nifty Gateway started in March, right? And crypto basically ran through up until like May, sell in May and go away, right? And then crypto going down from May to July set off the NFT bull run of 2021. So I'm curious if we see a lot of similarity this year, where basically the next 30 days continues to be painful for NFTs and great for crypto. But what happens is that like basically compresses the price in NFTs, where there's a lot of new projects coming in at attractive prices and old projects at attractive prices. And then we see a little bit of a correction in ETH and we get a nice run on NFTs. Be pretty interesting.
I think that's really interesting. Easy, do you have any thoughts on Kix's commentary or what you think will happen here?
No, I mean, we're seeing Bitcoin lead the charge at the moment. It's actually interesting because from the Solana side of things, where I've kind of been frequenting once again, I mean, ETH's volume is really low right now. My belief is a lot of sidelined capital. We actually saw 12,000 unique buyers on Solana this past week, which is up 7K from its lows. So that was a huge win in the space. There was 23,000 NFTs minted over 3 days from 3 very hyped collections. All 3 sold out. Some new mechanics led to one project only raising about half the capital that they were intending to. One project did manage to sell out at over $100 per NFT. They did pre-sell like 60% of the supply, but that just shows that a lot of this capital is still here, just sidelined. So like there seems like a lot of people are waiting to enter. They don't think NFTs are just done for, but they're just trying to wait for that like opportune time. I mean, I still think the next run is not going to be anything like what we've seen previously. I actually think it will be led by like gaming in general. Like we're seeing so much of that interest right now, and it continues to grow, and games are finally starting to roll out. I mean, we even have like Dr. Disrespect's game going live tonight for its next snapshot and being streamed on Twitch with 5 huge Twitch stream names. So like, to me, I think that a lot of people who are speculating, still bag holding and kind of like hoping that their bags pump, might be left disappointed when they see what actually leads this next kind of charge.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
And that PO happened in 2021. Remember, it was all art in the beginning, and then it was OpenSea profile pic projects that pumped. And the art that we had all had in January through March didn't end up pumping until like August or July.
Yeah, but most of it still died. But then the good stuff like X Copy, for example.
But that's the thing. Maybe 10% survives. Like that's the big piece here, is like maybe you get a small portion of things that actually do make it out and become like the old money pinnacle of it, even though we've been around the space for like such a short period of time. What's most interesting to me is like with Bitcoin leading right now, I think altcoins are actually lagging pretty hard. And I'm looking pretty heavily at like the gaming space in general for like tokens and coins. Like Matic is really, really interesting for me here. And then in addition to like some of these other like specific coins that fit like certain ecosystems, that when Bitcoin runs like this, alts typically do lag. And if Bitcoin can hold over 27, I'm really interested in some like small to mid cap plays.
Oh, if you're trading, don't buy Bitcoin, buy anything else if you're trading.
Even ApeCoin looks really interesting here for me, because the unlock just happened and a lot of people are net short. Like I think it actually has positive funding rates if you literally just take a long on it at the moment, which is a good sign for like potential squeeze opportunity. And obviously catalysts from like whatever this heavy metal post summoning is.
Yeah. All altcoins, including Ethereum, outperform Bitcoin in price action, you know, when everything's ripping 1,000%. It's like not debatable. Like every single chart points to that. So if you're looking to trade, yeah, I agree. Don't buy Bitcoin. Doesn't make any sense. We've seen a couple of different collections come out that had a bit of hype. Momo Guru, if you guys remember that one, that was all hyped up. I think the chart literally looks like, you know, what we're used to seeing. It looks like right now the price of Momo Guru is 0.17 ETH, which is below the mint price. Another example of a hyped up collection with the narrative of they've won X amount of Emmys, and then, you know, obviously it's unable to sustain that price. Puma's NFT collection is also trading below mint price at 0.13. Mocaverse by animocabrands seems as though it's holding 1.15 ETH.
Revealed 37 minutes ago.
Okay, I think that makes sense. Right.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a unique case there because you do have a lot of buyers from other chains. People are actually buying the allow lists on BNB. So like there's a different exposure there for like potentially a separate market than what we're traditionally used to.
Yep. And then Gitcoin,
these are so ugly. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's at 0.04.
These look a little bit questionable.
Let's pull those back up, Clemente. Those were the Mocaverse, right?
Yeah, they revealed at 9. And I'm surprised they're holding 1 ETH.
And being like, "Hi, I'm Greg."
Sorry, hold on. You
NFTs.
You got to fix your mic, dude, because we got 10% of what you just said, and then it like just pops in with spikes. Like, hi, I'm Greg.
I just want to trade NFTs.
I don't know what Kix does to his mic, ladies and gentlemen. It's beyond me, but he's a savant at fucking up audio. But yeah, I mean, these are pretty interesting. Kix, by the way, Mocaverse is dunking on you because the price action on this is hot.
Yeah, dude. Whatever.
The thing about all these newer projects which have come out at the end of the PFP cycle is like it's really hard to justify if they actually have they don't have the historic legacy of being around long enough to say are they going to make it to the next round of the PFPs. And if you look back to like summer 21, obviously, you know, Xcopy was one of the names to break out. You look at where something like Chromie Squiggles was. I think the low of Squiggles was around like 6 ETH, I remember, like somewhere down there. And so when you're looking at across the PFPs, I think taking not anything, but like looking at the stuff that came out now is I'm not saying it's not going to make it to the next round because you've got stuff like Jack Butcher, which came out, which has proved to do very well. But like there's higher risk with the tail end of that stuff. And I'd be looking at the much older projects. Doodles, CloneX, and Moonbirds, I think that's more just sort of like you need not necessarily a change of leadership, but a change of leadership style for them to sort of break out of this rut. But there's like, if you look at the top 100, there's lots of good projects in there that I would say, okay, potentially this one I would make a bet on. Even ones which are sort of between 0.5 and 1 ETH, which I would make a bet on to say, I think they can make the next PFP cycle. This is not an end of PFPs. It's just the reset of the PFPs.
Well, there's definitely a great reset happening in the PFP space. And I think that the Federal Reserve has a lot to do with that. Just them out there printing money and their attack on the PFP market. But in all, as the longer I look at Mocaverse, the longer that I can justify buying it. The more I can justify buying it. Like I look at, there's a couple, the problem is, it's a brand that delivered this thing versus an artist. And I look at it and I say, damn, if they had an artist that delivered this, then I'd be like, okay, like this is the iconic for that specific artist. We just as well could have been buying this one in 2021, 2022 and being like, yo, this artist is a known artist. And like, look, I think it's pretty creative.
This also fits the narrative though, that like, if gaming pumps, this play could just, who gives a shit about the art? Like animocabrands is a big gaming organization. Like at the same time, a lot of people want exposure to something that like Animoca that has wild hands and a lot of upcoming things.
What kind of games they playing to like that? Candy Crush?
Good question.
So the idea of Animoca being big in gaming is it's like they're capitalized to invest in gaming. They don't yet have a runaway game, and so that's something that we need to like. I don't know. I want to like reserve judgment until like a later point.
One more time, Nick. It's not that bad. It's kind of like Cool Cats in a way. You know, the nice thick lines. no jagged edges. I could be a fan of that.
I would call this one medium lines, but it really like it's slightly more cartoony than like Creature World or something like that, where I feel like, I don't know, there you can see that there was creativity and effort that were put into it. So I don't want to just completely shit on the art, and I think it's interesting. The one thing that's weird though is when a brand reveals it versus an artist associated with it, when you have so much creativity invested in it, right? Like it's definitely edgy for at least in my opinion, for a corporation to release a PFP like that and not have any context for the art whatsoever. And also, is Mocaverse like a lead in to an actual game that they're developing where they're going to use these characters inside of it? Or is it more about the brand themselves? Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to sort of step back my like just shitting on the art, because I don't think that it's necessarily like, I don't think that it's awful. It's just definitely alternative in terms of its style. I put this also at medium border is where I put this.
The distinction though, Nick, is that this is like more of a pass, so to speak, to just get access to an ecosystem, and you're betting on the success of gaming and animocabrands specifically. This isn't a pure play, good art profile picture,
Oh yeah, no, yeah. And I think from that standpoint, look, if they can't sustain a floor, then we have problems. I also think that like, what other projects can you get for exposure to Animoca? And the main one is Sandbox. Like like that's the only other thing that you can buy is Sandbox land. But there's not really, I don't think that there's any other PFP projects that give you exposure. And if you're into buying PFPs, we've said before categorically that there's two areas that the market likes. You got PFPs and you got, quote, fine digital art. Basically.
Generative art specifically, yeah.
Yeah, generative does the best. So, yeah, I think, I don't know. It might as well, if you're not going to make the generative art, you might as well make the PFP. Those are your two options there. And then the third, which is an alternative category, would be digital land. So we see that with Otherdeed. We see that with Sandbox. These are your three options if you're investing in NFTs. So there you go.
There you go. So look, we're going to get into buy, sell, or send it to zero a little bit later in the show. It's worth noting, I think we should talk about a couple things here. I think we should talk briefly about the fact that the first Bitcoin DeGod sold for $87,000. So that's like a quality sale right there. I want to get Easy's take on that. And maybe like what comes next for ordinals. I think I then want to talk about NFT market sentiment in general and where it's at. And then a little bit about, just putting a bow on what we talked about with the banking situation and the, crypto prices, Bitcoin prices, what the Fed's going to do, blah, blah, blah. And then we can get into buy, sell, or send it. Easy. What do you make of, what do you make of the $87,000 DeGod sale on Bitcoin? You're muted, buddy.
It was a good sale. I mean, it was bought by Big Brain is the belief. So sold Big Brain. So basically he got it for free because the guy holds 180, I think, DeGods at the moment. So the dust that he spent, the belief is that he's just been holding it. So that bid was more or less free for him at this point. It's also this one, I think, set the precedent that there is a demand because it's also the Frank DeGod. Like you got the one that's Frank's PFP. So yeah, you can even see like dust has taken quite the hit. Even over the last day. If you look over the last month on this, it's not very pretty. Just straight downward price action because there just hasn't been a catalyst. There's no more dust being yielded, so it is a fixed supply now. It'll be interesting to see the rest of this mint. It's supposed to go live today at 0.44 Bitcoin for the other, I think it's 333 of them, and 200 are being auctioned.
I have something unrelated, but
go ahead. Go ahead. Take it away,
protocol.
buddy.
The one thing I just wanted to say is we haven't mentioned it on here. We've tweeted about it. There's going to be an announcement in the Discord later today. There will also be, and then we'll kind of discuss it on Monday. But Monday we're going to have an actual launch. We're on track for doing that. And so the only thing I say is I just wanted to clarify something, which is that we're not taking the approach of saying we learned a lesson over the past couple of years. I just wanted to take a break to quick give an update, a slight one, portal-wise with our NFT. And this is not an actual announcement. This is an announcement of an announcement. But
my favorite.
I thought I'd set some context that I thought would be interesting. Considering that Monday is when we're planning on launching this, I thought it would just be helpful anyways, just to provide any insight whatsoever. If a year ago, we would have Discord calls every week to be like, here's what we're working on. Here's where we're headed, blah, 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 blah. And it became this like cadence of us giving like business reporting. And we've seen, I'll say there's been, we discussed it earlier this week, Doodles. We've seen a tragedy of a situation with Doodles. We've seen things with Moonbirds. We've seen things with a number of projects, basically, where this whole space has faced a lot of challenges. And I'd say a lot of the entrepreneurs in the space have faced challenges because they felt stress, like there's accountability that they have to their NFT holders. We actually do feel that accountability, but I'd say, I don't know the last time that we gave an update in the Discord. We're going to do it today. If you're a portal holder and you want to hop into the Discord, there will be something later today. We may do a call. We may not do a call. We'll probably wait until after the announcement on Monday so we can provide clarity for people to understand what it means and give you a little more clarity as to what the impact is for portals. But I just wanted to say and just reaffirm that we have a new phase coming, and Monday is the beginning of that. But this is something we've just realized over the past, I'd say like 6 months, where we had sort of a realization about a shift in the business. And that's what I just wanted to reaffirm. So if you're looking forward to anything, Monday is the beginning of that. If you're wondering what action do I need to take right now, the only real one is sign up for the newsletter. That's the main thing that I would say in terms of participating in anything on Monday. But there's a lot more associated with this, and the center of this is NFTs. That's what we're focused on. So if you're saying, what have these guys been doing associated with the NFTs? Look forward to Monday, okay? And an announcement later today with things. But we've decided to just change our approach to doing this. Before we would come on and give you all of the nuanced details of what we're doing, the market just doesn't like that. And so we just adjusted our strategy based on that. And so what are you going to see? A whole new approach to things, I would say. And so that's all I'll say about it. If you're like, Nick, why don't you give me more details? Why don't you give me more of these things? Because the market doesn't like it. We talk about this shit every day on this show. Every single day. We come on here and we talk about it. Someone giving an announcement. Someone, a founder getting frustrated and flustered and calling their community a piece of crap. Shout out to Doodles. And like a bunch of big plans that people have with partnerships with celebrities and all these other things. The market does not give a shit about any of that stuff. So that's what we've been focused on, is the things that we do believe that generally adds value to an NFT project. And so that's what we've been focusing on. So anyways, you'll see some of that.
The start of it, the very beginning of it on Monday.
Someone said a whole lot of nothing. Exactly. Exactly. You now understand the strategy. Welcome to NFTs. If you expect anything more than a whole lot of nothing for us to describe it, you're set up for failure. But the market loves that shit. So let me just tell you, we're not telling you anything other than there may be a little bit of something. So that's strategic. Remember that. You're seeing a new strategy from us. Okay?
I'd be willing to say that the person that said that probably doesn't have portals. And I think that's a person that... Oh, go ahead.
And probably has not made a huge bag in NFTs, because if they made a huge bag in NFTs, they would understand that the best thing that you can do is nothing, is say nothing. except for what Yuga does. And I say that Yuga kind of has an interesting playbook. Pudgy Penguins does this interestingly. There's a couple of people that do it. We have a narrowing number of projects that are actually like relevant. 2 years ago, I would have told you otherwise. People would have said cool cats are the future. People would have said a lot of other things about other projects. We're not doing that. I'm not saying anything. And if you're a hater, you're welcome to hate. Okay? Hate on us in the comments. Hate on us in the replies. Hop into the Discord and hate on us all you want. I'm grateful and appreciative of the fact that you feel any emotional response to us whatsoever. So thank you for that. But yeah, there will be an announcement in the Discord later today, and then there will be Monday. You'll be able to participate. So sign up on the newsletter. This is the thing that we've been saying for months. Why we've said sign up for the newsletter. And this will be the beginning of it. And then we'll provide more clarity over, I would say next week, you'll start to gain more clarity. Okay.
Farouk just commended us a lot of nothing because he understands that we understand that that's how you build speculation in the space.
He said, I'm hating because I got excited for you and you just said a whole lot of nothing. Farouk, you understand the methodology now, man. You've been sitting in the space watching what's going on. You're not going to get rewarded for giving clarity, Farouk. You're not going to get rewarded for it. But you do want to deliver something, and that's what Monday begins. So, like, it's not like we're going to show you nothing. We're going to start showing you things that I don't think you anticipate, and that's what we're really excited about.
Look what Anthony said.
There you go. Nothing drives a floor price like saying nothing and starting rumors about your own project. Exactly. Exactly. You understand the methodology of NFTs. I can't give you financial advice for the NFT though, whether or not you should buy it or sell it. Well,
I'll just go ahead. I mean, why not, Nick? I'll just tell them exactly what we're doing on Monday. So
no, he got muted. I think
he's muted
himself.
So no, what we're gonna do on Monday, it's gonna be amazing. We're going to launch.
I think his mute button ends up.
I don't know, guys. Oh God, we're losing kicks over here. This is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Monday. Hey, Monday. Anyways, over to easy for buy, sell, or send it to zero. Buy, sell, or send it to zero with our very own Easy Eats Bodega day trader extraordinaire.
I just bought one.
No, you didn't.
Please sell it.
Oh no.
Zero. Send it to zero, Easy. This thing is garbage.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Buy, Sell, or Send It to Zero. Everybody's favorite segment on the show. Don't worry about Monday right now. All you got to worry about right now is buy, sell, or send it to zero with our very own Easy Eats Bodega. We are going to talk to him about 3 collections, and he's going to tell us whether we're going to buy them, sell them, or send them to zero, everybody. So this is a segment that a lot of people love, but a lot of people hate because Easy crushes their dreams. Easy, are you ready for buy, sell, or send it to zero?
I was born ready. It's go time.
Let's go. First collection, Psychedelics Anonymous at 0.16 Ethereum. This collection has recently been in the spotlight for the first time in a very long time because their founder, Voltura, tweeted that he would consider selling the collection to a community DAO. The Genesis collection, Psychedelics Anonymous, actually reached a high of 4.5 Ethereum, but lost its value over time as the ecosystem became diluted with additional drops. It should also note that Voltura claims to be doxxed, but actually isn't doxxed. It's just a fake name, and he would never come on video for an interview ever. So that is a key detail right there. He is an undoxxed founder that says he's doxxed. That's a red flag in my book. Anyway, Easy, buy, sell, or send it to zero. Psychedelics Anonymous at 0.16.
I think it's going to zero.
Yeah,
I think it's going to zero. I'm gonna get a lot of negative comments because they do have a very strong community, but at the same time, this fits the narrative that I like. Some projects are not going to be able to bounce back. There's like 18 collections. It's way too confusing to a new participant entering the ecosystem, and seeing the founder at this point want to hand it over to a DAO. Maybe you could buy if that comes to life, just on a short-term pump. But if I'm holding this right now, I'm getting out. And I'm gone. See you never.
I mean, you're down bad if you're holding this right now, basically, no matter where you bought.
We were calling this a zero at the top Like we were saying that, and people kept buying it and talking about how. Remember how you need it? There was a whole strategy in the Discord. I'm blanking on who it was. I think he's gone now.
It was a 45-part essay
Toast,
on how to. No, Burtness J.
Burtness J.
But there's a 45-part extended essay on how to actually navigate this ecosystem. And then once you figure it out, they just drop another NFT. So it's like, wait,
but hold on.
to you.
Easy. Figure out how to navigate the ecosystem. Doesn't that whole 45-page essay just lead to buy the fucking NFTs?
Yeah, but it's like which one to buy in order to then have to buy a second one, to then need to buy a third one to get the next fourth one that's dropping next month.
It was, remember, it was like C2 and some other, like there were all these different components that you needed to buy, these different like levels. The whole thing, complete scam. Like the whole thing was a complete scam from the beginning. And now like the founder's trying to figure out how can he get the hell out of there with as little reputational damage to his anonymous profile as possible.
I actually don't even think he's concerned about reputational damage. I think that he's looking to rug with an exit. Like, you know what I mean? He's trying to sell the thing. It's not like just rug. He's trying to actually extract a little bit more on the way out. We haven't even talked about the Izu thing. I mean, Easy, how much was the Izu mint?
0.2. I think it was 0.2. And then they ended up, because they couldn't sell it out, they airdropped another one. So it cut the cost for minters to 0.1. But that's not even managed by him. There's a whole separate team already over Izu. And they were supposed to deliver NFC chip clothing December at Art Basel. And I maybe they did. I didn't hear anything about it. Yeah.
It's at 0.01.
Yeah, down 90%, literally.
15,000 of these things.
Easy. I do think they got some of the clothing out. The tough part for this is almost a unanimous send it to zero. It doesn't even have IP that could be an RNA, right? Like the art is horrendous.
Wait, can we look at that again?
Clemente, can you bring that back? Thank you for the contribution, buddy.
You only show it for 2 seconds. This art, you need to give people time to digest it. Look at that Izu. What?
It's on its neck.
It's better than the Genesis art. I'll give him that. It's the same, but with more color. Can you click on some of these?
I think even if you like doing a lot of psychedelic drugs, you know, like that's not a fun drug right there.
Wait, what happened to Izu?
Not like a fun drug right there. That's a scary drug.
Can we get Izu? Yeah, there we go.
Like also as well, I think going forward, as we like go into these new cycles, being anonymous is going to become more and more difficult when you're trying to release a project, because there's going to be like right now there's like maybe 4 or 5 people in the space who are anonymous and trusted, like thinking Punk 6529 and like a couple of other people. Those characters will go on to be trusted as we go into the new cycle, but new people coming, like new founders coming in, it's just not going to work. The ones from 2021 who still doing it now are trusted, but the ones coming in now, like Voltura, it's just going to be so hard because you're fighting and competing against other projects, you know, like Doodles, Clonex, who are at the moment struggling but could recover. And so it becomes a very difficult case of why would you essentially buy something from a team that is anonymous going forward as more supply comes in and the bar gets higher. So I think just even in being that position for me is a send it to zero, because that meta is just not going to continue. Very few people will be able to be anonymous founders going forward.
Pio doesn't want to break the news. He's concerned about it. We do have a source. Look.
Go, Nick. You do whatever you think is
story ever. Supposedly, Voltura slept with one of his holders' girlfriends and then paid him off and made him sign an NDA. So apparently that went down. Which is that's like, did this happen in front of the guy? Maybe that's what he's like into. Maybe that was like. What is that term called?
In cults, the cult leader says he has to hook up with everybody's wife, and usually you're not allowed to hook up with your wife.
Wait, what is the term for that? When like people get off on
cucked.
Cucked. There you go. So maybe that's what they were into.
I'm just gonna say it right now, though. The red flags are just ripping right now. I mean, if you will remember the easy thing, there was a ton of drama about it.
I'm gonna say that one's kind of bullish for me. Like honestly, like you got an egotistical dude running it. The downside is that he's anonymous.
Nick, is it more bullish for Bored Apes because that's his profile picture? He doesn't even want to rock his actual art.
There you go. Actually, yeah, I did sell the bottom of those, by the way. So can't wait for those to be worth 200 grand next week.
We interviewed the guy and asked him about his use of psychedelics, considering the name of the collection is Psychedelics Anonymous, and he refused to admit to
we should bring him on the show and ask him about his cuckolding sort of like stuff that's going on. Maybe I'll even tweet at him. I mean, dude, we only break the biggest news here. We broke the news on Cool Cats. We broke the news on Bored Ape Yacht Club funding, and we broke the news on Voltura cucking one of his holders, basically, which I just think is pretty
utility.
Utility. That's what he signed up for, basically. I like that one.
Bunny. Wow. Well, I did not know that the show was going to take this turn, ladies and gentlemen, but you know where you can find some of the hottest gossip. My business partner, Nick's able to make an announcement for our actual NFT ecosystem and break some of the gnarliest, most...
That was a contrasting like conversation. I will say there. We went from
So I'm going to go back to the source here. Send it to 0. Let's get back on pace here.
Look, guys,
a while to send it to 0. I think ever.
Yeah,
I think so too. I also think it should be noted, Nick is the most versatile professional in the NFT space for sure. He can go from making an announcement of an announcement to build excitement for our NFT ecosystem
to hopping on a meeting with a business professional to have a conversation, like a professional conversation about a strategic business decision or execution that we need to discuss, and in that same meeting discuss the founder of another project cucking someone. Anyway, everyone's still like enjoys this, dude. Like, come on, man.
Oh no,
like,
I'm not.
Like we're all humans here. We're all used to a good cuck story, you know.
I mean, look at everyone in the comments. Jesus Christ. Look, the only reason we're doing this, guys, is because this was an example where we invited someone on the show because we thought they were legit, and then as soon as they got on the show, I was like, oh my God. Oh, this person's a scammer. Fuck. And he's not actually really doxxed. He's just literally giving a fake name, which is so bad. Anyway, that was a send it to 0 from everybody. Moving on, second collection. Doodles at 3.62 Ethereum. They have ambitious goals of becoming a franchise media company, and the co-founder Poopy has been a recipient of
Doodles
fear.
At what?
Sorry?
Did you say 6.2?
3.62, buddy.
Oh, my. I was like, what?
Ladies and gentlemen, he's a versatile builder. He's a versatile showman. He's not the best listener. I'm not going to lie. Look, no one's perfect, ladies and gentlemen. When you have strengths in one area, something else has to come back.
This is the segment called Attack Nick for making one slim mistake. But please continue. It's very exciting.
Anyway, co-founder Poopy was the recipient of fear, uncertainty, doubt this week FUD after what the market has determined to be poor communication directly with the holders of the Doodles NFT. Doodles is very much so below its all-time high. Its all-time high was 24 Ethereum, ladies and gentlemen. That's the floor. It was the floor price of the collection, 24 Ethereum, and it's down nearly 40% just over the past 30 days. It's now trading at 3.62 Ethereum. Once considered a blue chip in the NFT ecosystem, this has been a very rough week for Doodles. Easy, buy, sell, or send Doodles to 0 at 3.62 ETH.
It's tough for me because I think here is still a sell, but we're approaching an area where like I'd almost buy one, like buying into the FUD. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's just under 3, but like you are seeing people buy into some of just a speculation on like any sort of bounce back here. It's tough because Doodles has done a massive raise. They have a founder who was able to do something both with Top Shots and CryptoKitties. So you hope they understand the space, but clearly they're out of touch at this point.
Last night took an L, but today they bounced back, you know?
That's the thing. I agree. Like that's where we're at. I almost feel, I think at 3.5 it's a sell, at 3 it's a buy. And it's getting close for me. Because people like Doodles art is, I don't like the eye off
one
the
of
head,
the best,
but people love it. Like They still have the mini golf thing in Miami up on the walls. They haven't painted over it. So like I see it all the time. You know, it's when you look at it, it's positive. It's easily brandable. I think they've raised too much to be part of an RNA, a nice old rugged acquisition. But I do think that like maybe hire a PR team and this can right the ship. They got the money. They definitely have the money.
Exactly. Nick?
Man, Doodles is a tough one. You know, I have personal experiences going back to them hating on me because I called out essentially companies that like raised millions of dollars and took a 3-month vacation in the first year of operations, which I thought is just like absurd because you're kind of like missing out on the opportunity to execute on your business that you creed. And then
we haven't taken any vacations since late 2021, and it's affecting our mental health.
Yeah, like it's been fucking devastating, frankly, to our health. So can't recommend it. Gary V would co-sign on our behavior, but I'm gonna be honest, Gary, you're wrong on this one. But as it applied to Doodles, they felt slighted by this commentary. The CEO even hopped in when
you didn't say it to them. Remember, it like definitively was not a comment about Doodles.
Yeah, I didn't say anything. What did I sell this at? 6.4. I'm looking like a damn genius, basically, at this point in time. And look, I've been a fan of Poopy, actually, which is what everyone was talking about, was his commentary. And I feel emotionally connected in terms of how he was speaking to the community. Where he was off with it was that the problem is he's managing a project where people bought in at a very high price. And there's a lot of people that have lost tens of thousands of dollars.
That's on those
whereas like for us, our NFT is fluctuated between $170 at mint and I think $1,000 at the top.
Yeah,
and,
but if your NFT went to 5 ETH, you'd have the same people, and it's not your fault that those people bought at 5 ETH. It's not the tulip farmer's fault that some idiot bought a tulip for $100,000. You know what I mean?
You're right, but they're also holding it all the way down, so you have to be at least empathetic to the people.
The first mistake was buying it. The second mistake was riding all the way down. And once again, I'm talking about it. I did it with moonbirds. I bought a picture of a digital moonbird for $35,000, and it's now worth $6,000, and I still haven't sold it. That's on me, dude. That's not
understand, but
not on Kevin Rose. That's not on anyone else.
Hold on.
I got to live with that. I got to look in the mirror and say, you bought a pixelated moonbird for $35,000 and you rode that shit down to $6,000. I can't be like, oh man, dude, Kevin Rose, man, if he had just done something different, dude, if he had just tried a little harder.
Hold on.
Such a dick.
So I understand where you're coming from, but like the reality is, you still need to show empathy toward the people that bought in at that high price. And additionally, you were right. If you're riding on the wave when things are doing great, you got to be able to show up when things are down.
Sure.
And that's the bottom line, is that like they benefited from all of the volume because literally their ability to get a partnership and solidify a partnership with Pharrell was based on all of the momentum built by all of the financial speculators that he's basically saying you all suck at this point in time. And the entire market and all of the attention that went in and all the brands that existed at that point in time basically were able to be beneficiaries of these ridiculous floor prices. They were able to get venture capital at absurd valuations, not diluting themselves as equity holders. Although when you raise at a Series A and beyond, you do have to pay out the investors first on any liquidity event, typically, as one of the clauses that'll go into that venture deal. But the reality is all of these different businesses, projects benefited from those high floor prices.
Yeah,
so
but like Peloton at $159 per share, and it's at $10. You know what I mean?
I sold at the top, but yeah, that one.
We literally went through a worldwide mania in prices across the board. You can't sit around. Here's the reality, probably for Poopy, is that he probably had to deal with a lot of people just talking shit in the Discord nonstop for 3 months, and he probably eventually just lost his shit. But anyways, let's get back to the buy, sell, hold. My problem is, it's a $60 million market cap still.
And they're not executing the way that the NFT market wants to happen, which is why inherently it's a sell. He literally just said, sell the NFT. That was basically his message. I don't give a shit about speculators. Our execution plan is not based on something which is going to add floor value to the NFT project to make our NFT holders excited about anything. Your only option at this point is sell. And technically, you should give it a send it to zero just based on the messaging that he just said. That's inherently bad for the ecosystem, though. Like, and I think like that. I understand his emotional side, and I specified that. I said I feel a connection to him in what he's saying because I understand fundamentally that technically, yeah, those NFT holders are not shareholders in your business, so you don't technically owe them anything. They bought a piece of art, and the price went down. But he's literally himself, if he was on the show, would have said, send it to zero. That's literally what he's saying to people. That's what his messaging meant.
I massively agree with Nick on this because if you look at Clonex and Moonbirds, which I'm putting them in the same bracket, neither of those founders have come out and said what Poopy said. That's like the worst statement you could have said. And out of those three, I think their floor price could go below Clonex, even though Clonex is a 20K supply, because when you hear that as an NFT holder, it's just like, well, then why, why am I here? And I don't think you can even compare it to a traditional company like Peloton. Even if Peloton got like tons of shit from the mainstream press, you would never expect the CEO to come out and just be like, well, anyone who's a Peloton holder, get the fuck out of here. Founders need to have emotional control because you need to see, you want to see somebody who is confident in being able to take extremely harsh criticism because it comes with the role. That is part of being a founder in this space. So for me, it's a sell, not necessarily send it to zero, but it's a sell just simply because of his reaction to the FUD rather than.
As you just said, Moonbirds and
when you buy a Peloton, you don't get direct access to the CEO of the company where you can like hound him with messages saying buy my Peloton back from me.
But those founders get a shit ton of criticism from their community on social media, from journalists, from banks who are giving like buy, send, or sell it, like buy or sells as well.
Yeah.
They get daily shit just as much as the founders in this space, and it does affect their decision making. But we don't necessarily you will never see any founder of a company come out and say that. And if they did, you'd be like, they've just done a Britney and basically lost it.
But yeah, my last counter is that you, as you said, Clonex and Moonbirds, neither of their CEOs said that. Yet look at the prices. It's the market. It's like this shit's going down for the market. Here's the elephant in the room. All these price declines are probably going to happen anyways, but they got accelerated by blur farming. Blur maxis will say, oh, no, it's not the case. It's 100% the case. Look at the data. A lot of this stuff is just getting accelerated downwards because of blur farming. At the end of the day, when you buy a profile pick project, what you have to understand is some of these things, like, for example, Azuki has a $242 million market cap on Azuki profile picks because 5,000 people in the world say it's worth that much. That's what you have to understand at the end of the day is you're in a room with 5,000 other people creating market caps that are bigger than a lot of public companies in this world. And all it takes is, a couple hundred of them to go the other direction for things to start going downhill pretty quick.
And look, I understand there's I almost don't wish a insane high floor price. Like you're talking about $500,000 when apes were at that level. How can anybody justify that level of quote valuation for the assets within their ecosystem, with the exception of, hey, people think that this is a great collectible and they can trade it for whatever they want. That's all good. But I just think that it's odd. Poopy just shouldn't be in the Discord. And historically, I think a lot on that team has shown a lack of capacity for public communication. And that's just a repeat thing. They need to just bring someone in who's good at that. Not even the CEO is good at that. So organizationally, they are poor at communication. And that's a problem that they face. That said, I don't think it reflects, I I still respect Poopy as someone who's executing, as someone who's a talented individual. I just don't think he should be the person that's providing commentary on things. And also, when you're at a business that's of that size, you probably should have a communications team that's giving you advice on what to say publicly. Like, frankly, like Mark Zuckerberg, when Facebook was growing, had someone who was essentially a communications coach teaching him and training him how to communicate about the business. And at this point in time, he's able to communicate with a lot of the best executives out there because he has people who have been advising him on that process. They don't have that in this organization, and it shows. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
Jobs had an Apple Discord in 1996. You would have said the same thing as Poopy.
He was really good at it, though. One of his best videos is when he's standing up there and a guy comes into
the video you're talking about.
And like attacks him, and he's like, you know what? This guy is right. And literally acknowledges all of the things that person is saying, shows empathy, like I'm saying, and then turns it and says, but here's why I think that we're going to win. So he turned a weakness, acknowledges it, and then goes and says, here's what our path forward is. And that's all that you got to do. But none of these people in the space have any experience with that. And that's not their source of inspiration. It's when you see people who are like literally boots on the ground, the people who are developing, the people who are designing, the people who are creating, essentially, are usually not the people who are at the front of the business who are doing the communication. That's the job of executives. And if your organization's not doing it, well, you don't have the right executive team in place.
And if I could add anything here at the end, it's never, ever, 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 ever going to be good for you to say that you're not an NFT project. That's literally the death of you to the market. Bored Ape Yacht Club is literally Yuga Labs is literally $1 billion gaming studio startup. But if you ask Gordon Garner or you ask, what's his name, Gargamel, like what Yuga Labs is, you'll say, we've made some NFT projects, right? We have some NFT projects. You will. Like, literally watch the interviews with them. Project. It's an NFT project. 9gag CEO, if he talks about captains, if he talks about stuff, he's going to say, yeah, it's our NFT project. No one's going to say, we have this other business, or like, we have this business. No one wants to hear about your business. No one wants to hear about your company. They bought an NFT project. You're an NFT project. Pudgy Penguins is an NFT project. That's what they want to hear. As soon as you say you're not an NFT project, it's a wrap. Literally dead, done, forget it. So that was a sell, I think, from everybody. Last one, Heavy Metal, the latest in the Yuga Labs ecosystem at 2.24 ETH. That's an NFT project, ladies and gentlemen. Eligible sewer pass holders were able to burn their passes to summon a power source, a mech that will be used to participate in future Yuga mini games. Another NFT project by Yuga Labs. Heavy Metal at 2.24 ETH. Easy. What's the story? You're muted, buddy.
It's a buy from me here.
Really?
Yeah, I like it here. We don't know what's next. We've seen the sell-off now. Sewer passes are down to about the same cost. It's a post-reveal dip is what we're seeing right here. There's going to be another stage. We know that. We saw this exact situation play out with sewer passes going as low as 1.3. These clearly haven't gone that low. If they test 2, even here, like I feel comfortable getting in. I think they're actually like 2.2. You can get one on Blur at the moment. And I think if we touch 2, it feels like a no-brainer to me. We're getting a Yuga Labs asset. There's still 2 more games to be played in this. They won't be skill-based. A lot of people speculating it's going to be more logic-based potentially, and that's interesting to me. Yeah, I think it's a buy here.
Got a buy call.
Dude, it's hard not to look at this and start to feel some of the Pixel Vault sort of vibes that of prior years. They're dropping. It's theoretically non-dilutive, but it is dilutive because it's delivering value to the ape holders, and ape holders are notoriously diamond-handed. So I would say that's one of the benefits, that they're able to sustain this ecosystem. But like, I don't know what the like. That said, You don't know how they're going to integrate all these different things, but the floor price of this being higher than, let's say, other deeds, although I guess other side has 100,000 versus 20,000 with this, so that is a big distinction. I also haven't claimed my HVMTL or whatever yet. I don't know if there's any upside in doing that immediately.
Like, basically the same price.
So
yeah, you got to claim it by 11 o'clock today, though, or it burns off.
No, you don't.
You actually missed the burn by 21 minutes.
Yeah, you missed the burn. It's okay. You can't win them all, Nick. You don't let it get to you and affect your day. But do we know when the next event to expect for these is?
A few weeks, I think, right? No,
it has. So I think if you go to the website, it has like what the name is, but we don't have a date yet. So like for me, that's like a clear catalyst that's going to drive price action because Bored Apes are just going to put an announcement out whenever the next thing is. And every time they've dropped an announcement, we've seen a 0.2 to 0.3 price run up on sewer passes and more. So for me, that's what I'm excited about. Like,
I sold one of my sewer passes for 2.75, held the other one. So I'm not a buyer or a seller here, but if I wanted to buy these, I'd wait for like 1.8.
I will say
25% drop.
Well, actually, no, I won't say.
Like people getting bored of this stuff.
Yeah, we got 2 weeks till we find out at most for what the summoning types are, the mech type reveals, and then we have through some portal. And that's early April is what it says. So theoretically a month of time for this to just fester.
Their use of the portal was a little disappointing to see. But outside of that, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what goes on here. Like, where did that portal appear from? There's a lot of missing components of this narrative. So that's something, and that's something that I've always found with some of their things. But it's easier for me to FUD once I've sold my ape. You know what I'm saying? So
up top, bro. Good sell. Let's go.
It was a bad sell.
I sold mine. Send it to 0.
Signal, what do you think about it here at 2.26?
No, I like it. I like it. I think this is just like a guarantee, not guarantee, but you're 98% sure that something interesting is going to happen for the rest of the year here. And I definitely want to play these games. Like, I think like one of the biggest things lacking in the gaming space is just games that don't cater to like proper gamers, as in people like you guys who've been playing games for so long. It's
Give me a
just like,
chessboard.
no, like not chess, but just like I want to play games, but I'm not going to sit there with a console, and it's just not my type of game. And I just think I'd like to see more diversity in games so that more people can become interested in gaming. So one of the reasons why mobile took off so strong was because the barrier to entry was not a console. And I think there's a little bit of a gap in the market. And if Yuga are going to be bringing games like this and introducing them, going for mongrel type, so you have to be really good with a console, to games like strategy where you have to do different things, maybe work together, and then something else later on, I think it's good for adoption of gaming so it gets more people in. So I'm interested to buy this just because I want to play more games and do more games like this which don't require like console level wrist flexibility and pizza boards to be able to get fast mouse movements.
Love to hear it. I mean, look,
it's a buy.
It's a buy. That's your edition of Buy Seller Send It to 0 with Easy Eats Bodega. We had 2 sells and a buy. I think it's easy to say sell in this market right now. It's a pretty gnarly time for NFTs. The numbers on our content are an indicator and always have been of where the market's at. And let's put it this way, it definitely ain't the top right now. Nick, it's Friday. Do you have any closing thoughts for anybody?
Floor your portals and get the fuck out.
That's it? That's all?
Yeah, we don't care about any of them.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we run this show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Eastern time. We have an announcement on Monday. It's the start of something new for us. We're incredibly excited. I'm just going to leave it at that. There might be more communication before then. There might not be. You fucking figure it out. Floor it. Yeah, Kicks? Sorry?
I got Friday closeout if you want.
What do you mean?
Friday night. I'm thinking that we just might fly away to some place they don't know who we are.
Well, there we go. That's your closeout. Hey, floor it.